Jess, sweetie, you don't mind sitting over there with the kids, do you? My sister Diane's voice dripped with that fake sweetness she always used when she was about to do something shitty. The adult table is just so full, and honestly, you'll probably have more fun with them anyway. I stood there in the entrance of Clearwater, one of Portland's most exclusive restaurants, holding a bottle of expensive wine I'd brought as a gift. The dining room was gorgeous, all dim lighting and polished wood, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Willamette River. My sister had rented out a private section for what she'd called a family celebration dinner. I'd been excited when she invited me 2 weeks ago. Stupid me. My name is Jess, and I'm 27 years old. I work as a graphic designer for Bright Ridge Media, a growing marketing firm in Portland, Oregon. For the past 6 years, I've been the family afterthought, the single one, the one who apparently doesn't count as a real adult, because I don't have a husband or kids. My older sister Diane is 35, married to Greg, and they have 2 daughters. My brother Austin is 32, married to his wife Kelly, and they have a son. Then there's me, the baby of the family, perpetually treated like I'm still in high school, even though I have my own apartment, my own career, and my own life. I looked past Diane to the dining area she'd reserved. Sure enough, there were 2 tables. One was set with elegant place settings, real wine glasses and candles. My parents sat there already, along with Diane's husband Greg, my brother Austin, and his wife Kelly. They were laughing, sipping cocktails, looking like something out of a lifestyle magazine. The other table, shoved into the corner near the kitchen doors, had plastic cups and a paper tablecloth with cartoon dinosaurs on it. Diane's 2 daughters and Austin's son were already coloring on placemats, completely oblivious to the insult their mother and uncle were endorsing. "You're joking," I said flatly. Diane's smile tightened. "It's just easier this way. You know how it is. The kids need supervision, and you're so good with them." "I'm 27 years old, Diane. I'm not a babysitter." "Don't be dramatic." She waved her hand dismissively. "It's one dinner. Besides, Mom and Dad want to hear about Austin's promotion, and Greg and I have some exciting news to share. Adult stuff, you understand." I understood perfectly. I understood that despite having a successful career, despite living independently, despite being a fully functioning adult, my family still saw me as less than because I wasn't married. I understood that this wasn't about table space or seating arrangements. This was about putting me in my place. My mother glanced over from the adult table. She saw me standing there, saw the kids' table, and had the decency to look slightly uncomfortable. But she didn't say anything. She never did. My father didn't even look up from his phone. Austin caught my eye and shrugged, like this was all perfectly normal, and I was overreacting. Kelly, his wife, actually smirked. Something cold settled in my chest. Not anger, exactly. More like clarity. "Sure," I said, keeping my voice light. "No problem at all." Diane looked surprised, like she'd expected more of a fight. "Oh, wonderful. I knew you'd understand. You're such a good sport, Jess." I walked over to the kids' table and set my wine bottle down. Diane's daughters, Emma and Sophie, ages 6 and 8, looked up at me with gap-toothed smiles. Austin's son, Tyler, who was 7, was focused on coloring a T-Rex purple. "Aunt Jess, are you eating with us?" Emma asked, genuinely happy about it. "Looks like it, kiddo," I said, ruffling her hair. The thing was, I actually liked my nieces and nephew. They were sweet kids. This wasn't about them. This was about the principal. About being repeatedly told I didn't matter as much as my siblings did. About being excluded from family conversations and decisions because I hadn't followed the approved life script. I pulled out my phone and quickly typed a text to my best friend Vanessa, who worked as an event coordinator. "Emergency. Need you to call me in 20 minutes with a fake crisis." Her response came immediately. "On it. This better be good." A server appeared, looking uncertain about the table arrangement but too professional to comment. "Can I get you started with drinks?" From the adult table, I heard my mother's laugh, bright and performative. Diane was already talking, her hands animated as she launched into whatever announcement she had planned. Greg had his arm around her shoulders. Austin and Kelly were leaning in, looking interested. Nobody from that table looked at me. Not once. The server waited patiently for my drink order. "Just water," I said. "I won't be staying long." Growing up, I'd always been close with Diane. She was 8 years older, which felt like a huge gap when I was little, but she'd been protective of me in high school. She helped me with college applications, gave me advice about boys, let me borrow her clothes. Back then, I thought we had a real bond. That changed about 4 years ago when I turned 23 and was still single while Diane was planning her wedding. Something shifted in her attitude toward me. Suddenly, every conversation became about when I was going to find someone, settle down, give our parents grandchildren. As if my entire worth was tied to my relationship status. The kids' table came with crayons and coloring books, which the restaurant provided for families. Emma immediately claimed the blue crayon and started drawing what looked like a horse. Sophie asked me to help her color a princess. Tyler ignored us all, methodically filling in his dinosaur with increasingly bizarre color choices. From the adult table, I could hear snippets of conversation. My father was talking about Austin's recent promotion to senior project manager at Thornlin Engineering. Everyone congratulated him, glasses clinking. My mother was gushing about how proud she was. I'd gotten my own promotion 3 months ago. I'd texted the family group chat about it. Diane had responded with a thumbs-up emoji. Austin had said, "Cool." My parents hadn't responded at all. "Aunt Jess, you're not coloring," Sophie said, poking my arm. "Sorry, sweetheart. I'm just thinking." "About what?" "About how much I love you guys," I said, which was true. "And about how sometimes grown-ups can be really silly." Emma giggled. "Grown-ups are silly all the time." "You're absolutely right." The appetizers arrived. The adult table got seared scallops, beef carpaccio, and some kind of fancy cheese board. The kids' table got chicken fingers and French fries. The server set down a basket of fries and gave me a sympathetic look. "Enjoy," she said quietly. I checked my phone. 15 minutes until Vanessa's call. I could make it 15 minutes. Diane's voice carried over the low restaurant noise. "So, we wanted to share this with the family first. Greg and I are expecting baby number 3. Immediate chaos at the adult table. My mother actually squealed. My father stood up to shake Greg's hand. Austin and Kelly offered enthusiastic congratulations. The server appeared with a bottle of champagne. "A toast," my father said, raising his glass. "To Diane and Greg, and to our growing family." From my seat at the kids' table, I watched them all drink. Nobody looked over at me. Nobody suggested I should join the toast. Nobody even seemed to remember I was there. Emma tugged on my sleeve. "What are they celebrating?" "Your mom is going to have another baby," I said, forcing a smile. "Oh." Emma considered this. "I wanted a puppy." Despite everything, I almost laughed. Kids had such perfect priorities. Tyler finally looked up from his coloring. "Can I have more ketchup?" "Sure, bud." I flagged down a server. My phone buzzed with a text from Vanessa. "Still want that call?" I looked at the adult table. They were deep in conversation now, planning nurseries and baby names, talking about Diane's pregnancy like it was the most important thing happening in the world. My mother had tears in her eyes, actual tears of joy. When I'd called to tell her about my promotion, which came with a 30% raise and a corner office, she'd said, "That's nice, dear," and changed the subject. I texted Vanessa back. "Not yet. I have a better idea." The entrees arrived. The adult table got filet mignon, seared salmon, and duck confit. The kids' table got more chicken fingers and mac and cheese. I stared at the plastic plate in front of me, at the kids' menu meal I hadn't ordered, that someone had simply assumed I should have. This wasn't about food or table arrangements anymore. This was about being systematically dismissed, diminished, and disrespected by people who were supposed to care about me. This was about being tolerated rather than valued, and I was done. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. The dinner reservation was under Diane's name, but I knew how these family dinners worked. She'd announce at the end that we were all splitting the bill. She'd done it before, dividing the check evenly even though I'd only ordered a salad while everyone else got surf and turf. The kids' table would still be expected to pay a full share. Not tonight. I texted my server, whose name tag said Jennifer, through the restaurant's messaging system. "Hi, I'm at the kids' table in the private section. I need to settle my portion of the bill separately and leave early. Can you help me out?" Her response came quickly. "Absolutely. Give me 5 minutes." I looked at Emma, Sophie, and Tyler, all happily eating their chicken fingers, completely unaware of adult politics and family dysfunction. "Hey guys," I said. "I have to leave soon for work stuff, but I want you to know you're awesome kids, okay? Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." They nodded, already focused back on their food. Jennifer appeared at my elbow with a discreet black folder. Inside was my bill, separated from the main table. Just water and my portion of the kids' meal I hadn't eaten. "I'll add a 40% tip," I whispered to her. "You really don't have to." "I know, but you've been kind, and I appreciate it." I handed her my card. While she processed it, I glanced one more time at the adult table. They were laughing about something Austin had said. Kelly was showing my mother something on her phone. Diane had her hand on her still flat stomach, glowing with that pregnant woman radiance everyone always fussed over. None of them looked at me. None of them had looked at me all night. Jennifer returned with my receipt. I signed it, grabbed my purse, and stood up quietly. "You're leaving?" Emma asked, disappointed. "I have to, sweetheart. But I'll see you soon, okay?" "Okay," she said sadly. I kissed the tops of all 3 kids' heads, then walked out of the private dining section. I didn't look at the adult table. I didn't announce my departure. I simply left. The cool Portland evening air hit my face as I stepped outside. My car was parked 2 blocks away. I walked slowly, breathing deeply, feeling the weight of years of accumulated dismissal lifting off my shoulders with each step. My phone started buzzing before I even reached my car. The first text came at 8:37 p.m., exactly 12 minutes after I'd walked out of Clearwater. "Diane, where did you go?" I was already in my car, driving toward the Pearl District where my apartment was. I glanced at the notification but didn't respond. 2 minutes later. "Jess, this is incredibly rude. We're in the middle of dinner." Then, "Mom is worried. Can you at least let us know you're okay?" I turned up the radio. An old Fleetwood Mac song was playing, something about going your own way. How fitting. By the time I pulled into my parking garage, my phone had 11 unread messages. I took the elevator up to my apartment, unlocked my door, and only then did I sit down on my couch to actually read them. Diane had sent 7 messages, escalating from confused to annoyed to genuinely panicked. My mother had sent 3, all variations of, "Please call us." Austin had sent one. "What's your problem?" What was my problem? Where did I even start? I opened a bottle of wine, the good stuff I kept for celebrating new clients, and poured myself a generous glass. Then I crafted a single response and sent it to the family group chat. "I'm fine. I left because I had actual adult things to handle. Enjoy your dinner." I turned off my phone completely and put it in a drawer. The next morning, I woke up to 43 text messages, 6 missed calls, and 2 voicemails. I made coffee first, took a long shower, and only then did I start going through them. Most were from Diane. The progression was fascinating to watch. It went from anger to confusion to genuine distress. Diane, 9:15 p.m. I can't believe you just left without saying anything. Do you know how embarrassing that was? Diane, 9:47 p.m. You could have at least told me you were leaving. I thought something happened to you. Diane, 10:23 p.m. Mom is really upset. She thinks you're mad about something. Diane, 11:08 p.m. Are you seriously ignoring me right now? Diane, 11:52 p.m. Okay, I'm actually getting worried. Can you please just respond and let me know you're alive? Diane, 1:33 m. Jess, I'm sorry if I did something to upset you. I really don't understand what happened. Please call me. The voicemails were even better. The first one was from my mother, her voice tight with that particular blend of concern and disapproval she'd perfected over the years. Jessica Marie, I don't know what's gotten into you, but walking out on a family dinner without a word is completely unacceptable. Your sister is very hurt. Please call me back immediately. The second voicemail was from Diane, and she sounded like she'd been crying. Jess, I don't understand what I did wrong. We were having such a nice dinner and then you just disappeared. I'm really worried about you. Please, please call me back. I love you. I sipped my coffee and felt absolutely nothing. No guilt, no regret, no urge to fix things. Just a calm, clear sense of boundaries finally being set. I called Vanessa instead. So, she said immediately. How did it go? Did you use my fake emergency? I didn't need it. I just left. You what? I told her everything. The kids' table, the plastic cups, the chicken fingers while they ate filet mignon, the pregnancy announcement I wasn't invited to toast, the complete and total dismissal of my existence. Vanessa was silent for a long moment. Then, holy shit, Jess, your family is awful. I know. No, I mean, I knew they were kind of dismissive, but this is next level. They literally put you at the kids' table, complete with dinosaur placemats. What are you going to do? I don't know yet, I admitted. But I'm not apologizing. Good. Don't you dare. They're the ones who should be apologizing to you. We talked for another hour. Vanessa, bless her, was ready to drive to my parents' house and give them all a piece of her mind. I talked her down, but it felt good to have someone in my corner who actually saw how messed up the situation was. After we hung up, I finally responded to the family group chat with a single message. I'm fine. Taking some space. We'll reach out when I'm ready. Then I muted the conversation. I spent the rest of Saturday deep cleaning my apartment and updating my portfolio. My phone kept lighting up with incoming messages, but I ignored them all. I wasn't ready to engage yet. I needed to think. Sunday morning, I went to my favorite coffee shop in the Alberta Arts District and ran into someone I knew from college. Her name was Patricia, and she worked in PR for Clovian Media, one of Portland's biggest advertising firms. Jess! She hugged me. I was literally just thinking about you. Are you still at Brightridge? I am, senior designer now. Congratulations. Listen, this is probably terrible timing, but we're looking for a creative director. The pay is ridiculous, and the benefits are incredible. Would you be interested? Would I be interested in a job that would probably double my salary and give me actual creative control? Would I be interested in a position that would make it even more impossible for my family to dismiss my career as just a design job? Send me the details, I said. Patricia grinned. I'll email you tomorrow. Fair warning, the interview process is intense, but I think you'd be perfect. We chatted for a few more minutes, then exchanged numbers and parted ways. I walked back to my apartment, feeling like the universe had just handed me a gift. By Sunday evening, I'd received 62 text messages total. Diane had sent 31 of them. She was spiraling, and part of me felt bad about that. But a larger part of me remembered sitting at that kid's table, watching my family celebrate without me, and felt absolutely justified in my silence. Monday morning, I went to work as usual. My boss, Kendra, pulled me aside around 10 a.m. "Hey, is everything okay? Your sister called the office this morning." "She did what?" "She said she was worried about you and hadn't been able to reach you. I told her you were fine and that we couldn't discuss personal matters. But she seemed pretty upset." I closed my eyes. "I'm sorry she bothered you. We had a family thing this weekend and I left early. She's being dramatic." Kendra studied my face. "Do you need to take some personal time?" "No, I'm good. Actually, I'm great. I might have a lead on a new opportunity, and I wanted to talk to you about that." We spent the next 20 minutes discussing my potential move to Clovian Media. Kendra was disappointed but supportive. She'd known this day might come. I was outgrowing Brightridge, and we both knew it. That evening, I finally turned my phone back to full volume. The messages had slowed down, but there was one from my mother that caught my attention. "Mom, your sister is very upset. I think you owe her an apology. Whatever happened, walking out without explanation was childish and hurtful. Please be the bigger person and call her." I stared at that message for a long time. Be the bigger person. That was always the refrain, wasn't it? Jess, be understanding. Jess, don't make waves. Jess, just accept that you're less important and be graceful about it. I typed out a response and sent it before I could second-guess myself. I'm not apologizing for having boundaries. If Diane wants to talk, she can acknowledge what she did. Until then, I need space. My mother's response was immediate. "What did she do? She invited you to a nice dinner." "She sat me at the kids' table like I'm not an adult. Then she ignored me for the entire meal. If you can't see why that's disrespectful, then you're part of the problem." I watched the 3 dots appear and disappear several times. Finally, "We'll discuss this later." No, we wouldn't. Not until they were ready to actually listen. I poured myself another glass of wine and opened my laptop. Patricia's email had arrived with details about the creative director position. The salary was even better than I'd hoped. The role would put me in charge of an entire creative team. It was everything I'd been working toward. I started on my application immediately, energized by possibility. The interview with Clovian Media happened on Wednesday afternoon. I took a half-day off work, put on my best power suit, and walked into their downtown office building feeling like I was stepping into a different version of my life. Patricia met me in the lobby. "You look amazing. Ready?" "As I'll ever be." The interview panel consisted of 4 people: the CEO, the head of creative, the director of operations, and Patricia herself. They asked tough questions about my creative process, my leadership style, my vision for their brand. I answered honestly, backed up by my portfolio and 6 years of increasingly impressive work. 2 hours later, I walked out feeling cautiously optimistic. My phone had been on silent during the interview. When I turned it back on, I had 23 new messages. Most were from Diane, but there were also messages from Austin and my mother. "Diane, we need to talk. This silence is really hurtful." "Diane, I don't understand why you're being like this. I invited you to a nice dinner and you're acting like I committed some crime." "Diane, Mom says you're mad about the seating arrangement." "Jess, it was just practical. The kids needed supervision." "Austin, you're being ridiculous. Diane is pregnant and stressed, and you're making everything about you." "Mom, your father and I are very disappointed in your behavior. Family is supposed to come first." I sat in my car in the parking garage and read through all of them. The thing that struck me most was that not a single person had actually apologized. Not one of them had said, "I'm sorry for making you feel excluded," or, "I'm sorry we didn't consider your feelings." Instead, they were all doubling down, insisting I was the problem for being upset. I crafted a careful response to the group chat. I'm an adult. I have a career, a home, a life. Being seated at the kids' table while you all had an adult dinner was disrespectful. Until someone can acknowledge that, I don't see the point in continuing this conversation. Austin responded within seconds. You're 27 and single. You don't have kids. Where exactly did you expect to sit? There it was, the thing nobody had been willing to say out loud until now. In their eyes, I wasn't really an adult because I wasn't married with children. My career didn't matter. My independence didn't matter. My feelings didn't matter. I typed back, "Wow. Thanks for clarifying that you don't see me as a real adult. That actually explains a lot." Austin, don't twist my words. Me, I'm not twisting anything. You literally just said my life choices make me less deserving of respect than you and Diane. Diane jumped in. That's not what he meant, and you know it. You're being so sensitive about everything. My mother added, "This is getting out of hand. Everyone calm down." I turned my phone off again and drove home. I was done trying to make them understand. They either got it or they didn't, and clearly they didn't. Thursday morning, Patricia called me. "The team loved you. They want to make an offer." My heart actually skipped. Seriously? Seriously. Can you come in tomorrow to discuss details? Absolutely. I went into work that day walking on air. Kendra noticed immediately. Good news? She asked. Potentially great news. I'll know more tomorrow. I'm happy for you, Jess. Truly. You deserve this. That evening, I met Vanessa for dinner at a Thai place in Southeast Portland. I told her about the job offer, and she literally screamed with excitement. This is incredible. When do you start? I don't even have the official offer yet, I laughed. But probably in a few weeks if I accept. If? What do you mean if? I'm just being cautious. Vanessa gave me a look. This isn't about the job, is it? This is about your family making you doubt yourself. She wasn't wrong. Part of me was still waiting for them to somehow ruin this too, to find a way to minimize it, or make it seem less important than Austin's promotion, or Diane's pregnancy. They haven't even asked how I'm doing, I said quietly. It's been 4 days since the dinner, and not one person has asked if I'm okay or if something is going on in my life. They're all just mad that I left. Because they're selfish, Vanessa said bluntly. And you know what? Screw them. Take the job, make stupid amounts of money, and live your best life. That's the best revenge. I smiled. You're right. I'm always right. It's exhausting. Friday's meeting at Clovian Media was everything I'd hoped for. They offered me the creative director position with a salary that was $60,000 more than what I was currently making. Plus equity, full benefits, and a corner office with views of Mount Hood on clear days. I accepted on the spot. We're thrilled, the CEO said, shaking my hand. We think you're going to do amazing things here. I gave Brightridge 2 weeks' notice that afternoon. Kendra was sad but supportive, and she threw me an impromptu celebration with the team. They were genuinely happy for me, which made me realize how starved I'd been for people who actually celebrated my successes. I posted about the new job on social media that evening. Just a simple post. Excited to announce I'm joining Clovian Media as their new creative director. Grateful for this opportunity and ready for the next chapter. The post got immediate traction. Friends from college congratulated me. Former coworkers liked and commented. Industry people I barely knew reached out to say they'd heard great things about Clovian. My family's response? Radio silence. Not a single like, not a single comment, nothing. Saturday afternoon, I finally got a text from Diane. Saw your Instagram. New job? Just that. No congratulations, no excitement, no acknowledgement of what a big deal this was. I responded, yes, it's a significant promotion. Diane, that's nice. Are you still mad about the dinner thing? I actually laughed out loud. After everything, after a week of silence and hostility, She was still more concerned about whether I was mad than about what was actually happening in my life. Me. I'm not mad. I'm just done accepting being treated like I don't matter. Diane. You do matter. You're being dramatic. It was one dinner. Me. It wasn't one dinner. It's been years of this. I'm just finally done pretending it's okay. Diane. Years of what? What are you even talking about? I stared at my phone in disbelief. She genuinely didn't see it. Years of dismissive comments, of my achievements being glossed over while hers and Austin's were celebrated, of being excluded from family decisions, of being treated like the kid sister who would never quite measure up. Me. Never mind. Congratulations on the baby. I didn't wait for a response. I had packing to do anyway. My lease was up in 2 months, and I'd been considering moving to a nicer place in the Pearl District. With my new salary, I could actually afford one of those modern condos I'd been eyeing. Sunday morning, my mother called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hi, Mom. Jessica. Her voice was cold. Your sister is beside herself. I don't know what's gotten into you lately, but this behavior needs to stop. What behavior? This attitude, this coldness, walking out on family dinners, refusing to communicate, making everything about you. I took a deep breath. Mom, do you even know what job I just accepted? Silence. Did you read my post? Did you see that I'm going to be a creative director at one of the biggest firms in Portland? More silence. You didn't even look, did you? I saw something about a job, she said defensively. I've been busy with Diane. She's having a difficult pregnancy, and your behavior is making it worse. My behavior, I repeated slowly. Mom, Diane sat me at the kids' table. She literally gave me chicken fingers and plastic cups while the rest of you had champagne and filet mignon, and not one of you said a word about it. It was practical, my mother said. Someone needed to watch the children. I'm not a babysitter. I'm your daughter. I'm a successful professional with a career you apparently can't be bothered to care about. Don't you dare speak to me that way, she snapped. I am your mother. Then act like it, I shot back. Act like you're proud of me. Act like my life matters as much as Diane's and Austin's. Act like I'm more than just convenient free childcare. You're being incredibly selfish. No, Mom, I'm finally being honest. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking. I'd never talked to my mother like that before. Part of me felt guilty. The larger part felt liberated. The next 2 weeks were a blur of wrapping up projects at Bright Ridge, apartment hunting, and starting the onboarding process at Clovian Media. I found a beautiful one-bedroom condo in the Pearl District, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a balcony overlooking the city. The rent was higher than my old place, but easily manageable with my new salary. My family continued their pattern of radio silence mixed with occasional passive-aggressive texts. Diane sent me pregnancy updates in the family chat like nothing had happened. Austin posted photos of his son's soccer games. My parents shared restaurant recommendations and vacation plans. Nobody mentioned my new job. Nobody asked about my move. It was like I'd become a ghost in my own family. Part of me wanted to just cut them off completely. But another part, the part that remembered family holidays and childhood memories, kept hoping they'd eventually understand. That hope died on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 weeks after the disastrous dinner. I was at my new office, settling into my role, when I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Is this Jessica? Yes, who's this? This is Teresa from Clearwater Restaurant. I'm calling about an outstanding bill from your party on September 9th. My blood went cold. I'm sorry, what? We have an unpaid balance of $843 from the private dining reservation under Diane Harris. The card we had on file was declined, and she listed you as an alternate contact. I sat down slowly. She listed me as responsible for the bill? Well, she indicated the party would be splitting costs. When we couldn't reach her, We tried the other numbers she provided. I paid for my portion that night, I said carefully. I settled my bill with my server before I left. Let me check. I heard typing. Oh, yes, I see that. You paid $32 plus tip, but the full party bill is much larger, and no one has paid the remainder. That's not my problem, I said, my voice harder than I intended. I paid for what I consumed. Whatever arrangement Diane made with the rest of the family is between them and you. I understand. But she did list you as a contact, and I left that dinner early specifically because I knew she'd try to split the bill unfairly. I took care of my portion. The rest is not my responsibility. You need to contact Diane, Austin, Greg, Kelly, and my parents. All of their numbers should be in your system. There was a pause. I see. Well, thank you for clarifying. I apologize for the confusion. After I hung up, I sat staring at my computer screen, fury building in my chest. Diane had not only stuck me at the kids' table, not only ignored me all night, but she'd also tried to make me responsible for a bill I hadn't agreed to pay. An $800 bill for a dinner I'd walked out on. I pulled up the family group chat and typed out a message. Just got a call from Clearwater about an unpaid bill. For the record, I paid for my own meal that night before I left. Whatever you all owe is your problem, not mine. Maybe next time don't seat family members at the kids' table and then expect them to subsidize your expensive celebration dinner. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. The response was immediate. Austin, are you seriously refusing to help pay for a family dinner? Me. I'm refusing to pay for a dinner I wasn't actually part of. I ate chicken fingers at the kids' table, remember? While you all had lobster and champagne. Diane. It was supposed to be a family dinner. We were supposed to split the cost. That's how these things work. Me. Then maybe you should have treated me like family instead of free childcare. Mom. Jessica Marie, this is absolutely unacceptable. You will contribute your fair share. Me. My fair share was $32, which I already paid. The rest of you racked up an $800 bill without me. That's on you. Dad. This is ridiculous. Just pay the money. Me. No. That single word seemed to stun them all into silence for a moment. Then the flood came. Diane. I can't believe you're doing this. I'm pregnant. I can't deal with this stress right now. Austin. You're being petty and vindictive. Mom. I raised you better than this. Me. Did you? Because from where I'm sitting, you raised me to accept being treated as less than my siblings. I'm done with that. Pay your own bill. I muted the chat again and got back to work. But I couldn't focus. The anger was too hot, too consuming. That evening, Vanessa came over to my new apartment to help me unpack. I told her about the restaurant bill, and she looked like she was going to explode. They tried to stick you with their bill? After everything? Apparently. That's fraud, Jess. That's literally attempted fraud. I know. What are you going to do? I opened a box of kitchen supplies and started putting dishes in cabinets. Nothing. I paid what I owed. The restaurant has their contact information. It's not my problem. But they're going to keep harassing you about it. Let them. I arranged wine glasses carefully on a shelf. I'm not giving in. Not on this. Not on anything anymore. Vanessa was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm proud of you. You know that? I looked at her. This friend who had stood by me through every family drama, every disappointment, every moment of self-doubt. Thank you for being here, I said. Always. We spent the rest of the evening unpacking and ordering pizza. My phone kept buzzing with incoming messages from the family chat, but I ignored them all. The next morning, I woke up to an email from Diane. An actual email, like she'd decided texts weren't formal enough for whatever she wanted to say. The subject line was, "We need to talk." I opened it with my coffee in hand. Jess, I don't understand what's happening with you. You've become someone I don't recognize. The sister I knew would never abandon her family over something so trivial. I'm trying to build a life and a family, and I invited you to be part of our celebration. Instead, you've turned it into this huge drama, and now you're refusing to help with basic expenses. Mom and Dad are talking about writing you out of the will. Austin thinks you need therapy. I'm just sad. I'm sad that my little sister has become so cold and selfish. I hope you figure out whatever is going on with you before you lose all of us completely. We love you, but we can't keep making excuses for your behavior. Please think about what you're doing. Love, Diane. I read it 3 times. Each time I felt less guilty and more clear-headed. They thought I was the problem. They genuinely believed that I was being unreasonable, that standing up for myself was selfishness, that refusing to fund their celebration dinner was abandonment. They had no idea what I'd actually been planning. I'd been thinking about Thanksgiving for weeks now. It was 6 weeks away, and traditionally, my family gathered at my parents' house in Beaverton. My mother always made a huge production of it, inviting extended family, cooking for days, acting like Martha Stewart had personally blessed her turkey recipe. I'd always helped. I showed up early to prep, stayed late to clean, and listened to endless passive-aggressive comments about how I should have brought a date, should have found someone by now, should have prioritized family over career. This year, I wasn't going. The decision had been building since the disastrous dinner, but Diane's email solidified it. If they couldn't respect me, they didn't deserve my time or presence. I called my mother on Thursday evening. She answered on the first ring. Jessica, have you thought about what Diane said? I have. That's actually why I'm calling. I wanted to let you know I won't be coming to Thanksgiving this year. Silence. Then, what do you mean you won't be coming? I mean, I'm making other plans. I won't be there. Don't be ridiculous. You always come to Thanksgiving. Not this year. Jessica, this is family tradition. You can't just skip it because you're in a mood. I'm not in a mood, Mom. I'm setting a boundary. I don't feel valued or respected by this family, and I'm not going to keep showing up to events where I'm treated like an afterthought. You're not an afterthought. You're being dramatic. Am I? Tell me, Mom, when was the last time anyone in this family asked me about my new job? When was the last time anyone congratulated me on my promotion? When was the last time anyone treated my achievements as important as Diane's pregnancy or Austin's career? She was quiet. That's what I thought. So, no, I won't be at Thanksgiving. You all can enjoy it without me. Your father will be very upset. Then maybe Dad should have said something when Diane sat me at the kids' table. Maybe he should have noticed that his daughter was being excluded from the family celebration and spoken up. But he didn't. None of you did. We didn't think it was that big of a deal. That's the problem, Mom. You didn't think. You never think about how your actions affect me. You just assume I'll always be there, always be accommodating, always accept whatever scraps of attention you throw my way. That's not fair. Isn't it? Prove me wrong. Tell me right now what my new job title is. Silence. You don't know, do you? Because you didn't bother to ask. You didn't bother to care. So no, I won't be at Thanksgiving. Have a nice holiday. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking, but I felt lighter than I had in weeks. I'd done it. I'd actually done it. Vanessa called me 20 minutes later. I just saw your Instagram story. Thanksgiving in Hawaii? Are you serious? I'd posted a photo of a plane ticket confirmation. Completely serious. I'm going to Maui for a week. Solo trip. Fancy resort, beach time, and absolutely no family drama. You're my hero. I'm just tired of waiting for them to change. They're not going to. So I'm moving on. Good for you. Seriously. The family group chat exploded over the next few days. My mother had apparently shared the news that I wasn't coming to Thanksgiving, and everyone had opinions. Diane, you're really going to skip Thanksgiving over a dinner seating arrangement? Austin, this is childish. Grow up and get over it. Dad, your mother is very hurt. I hope you're happy. Various aunts and uncles chimed in with their 2 cents, most of them siding with my parents and siblings. Only my cousin Bethany, who'd always been the black sheep of the family herself, sent me a private message. Good for you. They've always treated you like garbage. Enjoy Hawaii. I replied, thank you. That means more than you know. The weeks leading up to Thanksgiving were peaceful. I threw myself into my new job, impressed my team with fresh creative campaigns, and started building real professional relationships with people who valued my input. I went on dates with a guy I'd met through a work event. Nothing serious, but it was nice to be seen as an interesting, accomplished woman rather than the family disappointment. I found a pottery class and started going on Tuesday evenings. I reconnected with college friends I'd lost touch with. I built a life that was full and rich, and mine. The family messages continued, but they became easier to ignore. Diane sent weekly pregnancy updates that I didn't respond to. Austin posted family photos that I didn't like. My mother sent passive-aggressive articles about the importance of family bonds. I archived it all and moved on. 3 days before Thanksgiving, I got a call from an unknown number. This time, I answered out of curiosity. Is this Jessica? Yes. This is Greg, Diane's husband. We haven't really talked much, but I wanted to reach out. I was immediately suspicious. Okay. Look, I know there's been family drama. Diane tells me about it. But I wanted you to know that I think you're right. I nearly dropped my phone. What? The dinner thing, the kids' table, it was messed up. I told Diane that at the time, but she didn't want to hear it. She's used to getting her way, and she doesn't always see when she's being unfair. Why are you calling me? Because Thanksgiving is in 3 days, and Diane is miserable. She won't admit it, but she misses you. She's been crying about it. I'm sorry she's upset, but I'm not changing my plans. I'm not asking you to. I just wanted you to know that not everyone in the family thinks you're wrong. I get it. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry about how you were treated. It was the first apology I'd received from anyone. I didn't know what to do with it. Thank you, I finally said. I appreciate you calling. Have a good trip to Hawaii. Diane mentioned it. Sounds amazing. It will be. After we hung up, I sat with that conversation for a long time. Greg's call didn't fix anything, but it did confirm something important. I wasn't crazy. What happened was real and wrong, and at least one person could see it. That was enough. I flew to Maui on Thanksgiving morning. While my family was gathering in Beaverton, arguing over turkey and stuffing and probably talking about my absence, I was on a beach with a Mai Tai, watching the sunset over the Pacific Ocean. I posted a photo to Instagram with the caption, "Grateful for new beginnings." The post got 200 likes. My family didn't comment. I didn't care. I returned from Maui tanned, rested, and completely at peace with my decision. The week had been exactly what I needed. Long beach walks, good food, 0 family obligations, and plenty of time to think about what I actually wanted from my life. What I didn't want was to keep performing for people who would never appreciate me. My first day back at work, I got pulled into a meeting with the CEO of Clovian Media. My stomach dropped, worried something had gone wrong while I was away. Instead, he smiled and gestured for me to sit. "Jessica, we've been reviewing the campaign concepts you submitted before your vacation. The client loved them. They want to move forward immediately, and they specifically requested you lead the project." Seriously. It's a 6-month contract worth $500,000. Your first major win as creative director. I left that meeting feeling like I was floating. $500,000. My first major client. Proof that everything I'd been working toward was paying off. I called Vanessa immediately. Dinner tonight. My treat. I have news. Good news or bad news? Amazing news. We met at an upscale restaurant in downtown Portland, and I told her everything. She screamed so loud the other diners turned to stare. This is incredible. You're killing it. I really am, I said, and I meant it. For the first time in my life, I felt genuinely proud of myself without waiting for someone else's validation. I posted about the client win on LinkedIn that evening. The response was immediate. Colleagues, industry contacts, even people I barely knew congratulated me. My post got shared multiple times. My family's social media accounts remained silent. The next morning, I got a text from Diane. Just one line. Saw your LinkedIn. Congrats, I guess. I guess. 2 words that perfectly summarized how my family had always treated my achievements, as afterthoughts, as things that were nice but not really worth celebrating. I didn't respond. December arrived with Portland's typical gray rain and holiday chaos. The city transformed into a winter wonderland with lights and decorations everywhere. My new condo had a perfect view of the downtown Christmas tree lighting, which I watched from my balcony with wine and zero regrets. My mother called on December 5th. I let it go to voicemail. She called again the next day, and the next. On the 4th call, I finally answered. Mom. Jessica, thank God. I've been trying to reach you for days. I've been busy with work. Too busy for your mother? I didn't take the bait. What do you need? We need to talk about Christmas. Your father and I want you there. Diane wants you there. Even Austin says he misses you. That's nice. So you'll come? I didn't say that. Jessica? Mom, has anyone in this family actually apologized to me? Has anyone acknowledged that seating me at the kids' table was disrespectful? Has anyone congratulated me on my new job or asked about my life? Silence. That's what I thought. So no, I won't be coming to Christmas either. I'm actually going to spend it with Vanessa's family. They invited me, and I accepted. You're choosing strangers over your own family? I'm choosing people who treat me with respect over people who don't. That's not the same thing. Your father will be devastated. Then maybe Dad should call me himself instead of having you do it. I hung up before she could guilt-trip me further. Vanessa's invitation had been genuine. Her parents lived in Seattle, and she'd mentioned offhandedly that I was welcome to join them for Christmas. When I'd said yes, she'd been thrilled. My mom already loves you from everything I've told her. This will be great. The family group chat had been relatively quiet since Thanksgiving, but my conversation with my mother apparently prompted a new wave of messages. Diane, you're really not coming for Christmas. What about the kids? They want to see their aunt. Me. The kids are welcome to call me anytime. You have my number. Austin. This is getting ridiculous. You're punishing everyone because your feelings got hurt. Me. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm making choices about where I spend my time and energy. There's a difference. Dad. Your mother says you're spending Christmas with strangers. That's unacceptable. Me. I'm spending Christmas with people who actually want me there. That seems pretty acceptable to me. I muted the chat again and went back to work. Mid-December brought my company's holiday party, a fancy affair at a downtown hotel. I wore an emerald green dress I'd bought specifically for the occasion and felt genuinely excited about going. Patricia found me at the bar. You look amazing, and word around the office is your campaign is already exceeding projections. It's going well, I admitted. Better than well. The CEO is talking about fast-tracking you for partner consideration. Partner? Already? You're bringing in major clients and leading a team brilliantly. Why not? I floated through the rest of the party on a cloud of champagne and possibility. Several colleagues told me they'd seen my LinkedIn posts and were impressed. The head of creative pulled me aside to say I was exactly the kind of talent they'd been hoping to attract. I took a selfie at the party and posted it to Instagram with the caption, "Celebrating an incredible year with incredible people." Within minutes, the likes and comments poured in. Friends from college, former co-workers, people from my pottery class all told me I looked happy and radiant. My family didn't comment. The next morning, I woke up to a long text from Diane. "I saw your party photos. You look happy. Happier than I've seen you in a long time. I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened. Greg keeps telling me I need to really listen to what you've been saying. I'm not good at admitting when I'm wrong. But maybe I was wrong about the dinner. Maybe I didn't think about how it would make you feel. I'm sorry if I hurt you. Can we please talk?" I stared at that message for a long time. It was the closest thing to a genuine apology I'd received, but something about it still felt off. "Sorry if I hurt you" wasn't the same as "I'm sorry I hurt you." It left room for doubt, for the possibility that maybe I'd overreacted. I showed it to Vanessa over coffee. "What do you think?" I asked. "I think it's a start, but it's not enough." She's still putting conditions on the apology. That's what I thought too. What are you going to do? I sipped my latte and considered. I'm going to tell her the truth. I crafted my response carefully, taking my time to say exactly what I needed to say. "Diane, I appreciate you reaching out, but I need you to understand something. This isn't about one dinner. This is about years of feeling like I don't matter as much as you and Austin, because I'm not married with kids. It's about my achievements being dismissed, while yours are celebrated. It's about being expected to show up, contribute, and support, while receiving nothing in return. The dinner was just the moment I finally saw clearly how unbalanced things have been. I'm not looking for an apology that includes if or maybe. I need you to understand that you hurt me, not that you might have hurt me. Until you can do that, I don't think there's much point in talking." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Her response came 3 hours later. "You're right. I hurt you. I have been dismissive of your life and your choices. I think part of me was jealous, actually. You have this freedom and this career success, and I tied myself down so young. I love my family, but sometimes I wonder what I could have done if I'd focused on my career like you did. So I minimized your accomplishments because it was easier than admitting I might have made different choices. That's not fair to you, and I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. Not if, not maybe. I hurt you, and I'm sorry." I read it 5 times. Vanessa read it over my shoulder. "Wow," she said quietly. "That's actually real." It was. I could feel the difference between this apology and the others. This one was honest, vulnerable, and specific. I called Diane. She answered immediately. "Jess, I got your message. And thank you for being honest. I should have been honest a long time ago." Her voice was thick. "I've been talking to Greg about all of this. He helped me see how unfair we've all been to you. He said you called him out at the dinner for the kids' table thing, and he agreed with you but didn't say anything because he didn't want to cause problems with me. He called me before Thanksgiving. He apologized. I know, he told me. I was mad at him at first, but then I realized he was right. We were all wrong. We talked for almost an hour. Really talked, in a way we hadn't in years. She asked about my new job, my new condo, my trip to Hawaii. She listened when I explained how isolated I'd felt at family gatherings. She admitted that she'd gotten so caught up in her own life that she'd stopped seeing me as a whole person. "What about Mom and Dad?" I asked finally. "And Austin?" "Austin is being stubborn. He thinks you're overreacting. Mom and Dad are confused. They don't understand why you're so upset." "Do they want to understand?" "I think so. But they're from a different generation. They see marriage and kids as the markers of adulthood, and they don't get why that bothers you." It bothers me because it means everything I've accomplished doesn't count. I know that now, and I'll talk to them. I'll help them understand. After we hung up, I felt something shift. Not forgiveness exactly, but the beginning of it. The door wasn't fully open, but it was no longer slammed shut. Christmas at Vanessa's family home in Seattle was exactly what I needed. Her parents were warm and welcoming. Her younger brother was funny and kind, and nobody asked me when I was getting married or having kids. They asked about my work, my travels, my hobbies. They treated me like a complete person. On Christmas morning, Vanessa's mom gave me a gift, a beautiful journal with a quote on the cover. She believed she could, so she did. "For all your future successes," she said, hugging me. I cried. Actually cried. Because this woman who barely knew me had shown me more thoughtfulness than my own family had in years. I posted a photo from Christmas morning on Instagram, smiling in my pajamas with Vanessa's family around the tree. The caption read, "Found family is just as important as blood family. Grateful for these wonderful people." The post got over 300 likes. My mother commented, "Glad you're happy. We missed you here." It was something. Small, but something. I returned to Portland after Christmas, feeling recharged. Work in the new year started with a bang. My client campaign launched in January and immediately generated buzz. Industry publications wrote about it. Other companies started reaching out to Clovian, specifically requesting to work with me. Patricia pulled me aside in late January. "The partner discussion is happening. They want to make it official by March." "Partner?" I repeated, still not quite believing it. "You've earned it. You know that, right?" I did know it. Finally, I did. February brought my birthday. I turned 28 quietly, taking the day off work and spending it doing exactly what I wanted. Sleeping in, getting a massage, having a nice dinner with Vanessa. I didn't post about it on social media. I didn't make a big deal about it. But my family remembered. Diane sent flowers to my apartment with a card that read, "Happy birthday to my incredible little sister. So proud of you." My mother called and actually asked me about my life, my job, my plans. We talked for 30 minutes, and it felt almost normal. Austin sent a text. "Happy birthday. Sorry I've been a jerk. Let's grab coffee sometime." My father sent a card in the mail with a check for $500 and a note. "Proud of the woman you've become." They were trying. It wasn't perfect, but they were trying. In early March, Clovian Media made the announcement. I was officially a partner. My name went on the letterhead. My salary doubled again. I got a profile in Portland Business Journal. I posted the announcement on all my social media accounts. This time, my entire family responded. Diane. "Partner. Oh my God, Jess, this is incredible." Austin. "Wow. Seriously impressive. Congratulations." Mom. "We're so proud of you, sweetheart." Dad. "My daughter. The partner. Well done." Even cousins and aunts and uncles I hadn't heard from in months chimed in with congratulations. It felt good. Really good. But it also felt like it shouldn't have taken this long. Spring arrived in Portland with cherry blossoms and rain showers. I spent my weekends exploring the city with new confidence, trying restaurants I'd always wanted to visit, taking myself to movies and art galleries without waiting for someone to join me. Diane called me in mid-April, her voice excited. "So, I'm having a baby shower, and before you say anything, I want you to know that you're not just invited. I want you to help plan it." Help plan it? Yes. You have this incredible eye for design, and I want this to be special. Plus, I want to spend time with you. Real time, not just awkward family dinners. We met at a coffee shop the next day and spent 2 hours planning. Diane showed me her Pinterest boards, and I sketched out ideas for decorations and activities. It felt like we were sisters again, really sisters, for the first time in years. "Can I ask you something?" Diane said as we were packing up. "Sure." "Were you really going to cut us all off permanently After Thanksgiving? I considered lying, softening it. But we'd promised honesty. I was seriously considering it, yeah. That scared me. When Mom told me you weren't coming to Christmas either, I realized I might actually lose you, and I couldn't stand that thought. You were losing me, I said gently. You just didn't notice until I stopped showing up. I notice now, and I'm going to keep noticing, I promise. The baby shower happened in May, held at a beautiful garden venue in Hillsborough. I'd helped design everything: elegant floral arrangements, tasteful decorations, a menu that featured Diane's favorites. The guest list included family, Diane's friends, and several women from her mommy groups. I arrived early to help set up. My mother was already there, directing workers with her usual intensity. Jessica, these centerpieces are gorgeous. Did you design these? I did. She looked at me, really looked at me, for what felt like the first time in years. You're incredibly talented, you know that? Thanks, Mom. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Your father and we got stuck in our ideas about what success looks like. We were wrong. It wasn't a full apology for everything, but it was something real. The shower was beautiful. Diane glowed, surrounded by people who loved her. When it came time for speeches, she asked me to say something. I stood up, my wine glass in hand, and looked at my sister. When Diane asked me to help plan this shower, I'll admit I was skeptical. We've had a rough year. But working on this together reminded me of who we used to be. Two sisters who actually liked each other. Diane, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the mother you are and the mother you're going to be to this new baby. And I'm grateful that we're finding our way back to each other. To Diane. Everyone raised their glasses. Diane was crying. So was my mother. After the shower, as we were cleaning up, Austin approached me. Hey, got a minute? We walked to a quiet corner of the garden. I owe you an apology, he said. A real one. I was a dick about everything. The dinner, the texts, all of it. I didn't understand why you were so upset. And instead of trying to understand, I just got defensive. Why? Honestly? Because Kelly pointed out that I do the same thing to her. I dismiss what she does because she's a stay-at-home mom, like that's not real work. Watching you stand up for yourself made me realize I needed to do better for my own family. That's big of you to admit. I'm working on it. Kelly and I are actually in couples therapy now, trying to fix things. Good. I hope it helps. Me too. He paused. I saw your profile in Portland Business Journal, partner at 28. That's incredible, Jess. Thanks. I mean it. I've been telling people my little sister is kind of a badass. I laughed. Kind of? Definitely a badass. We hugged, and it felt genuine. Over the following months, things continued to improve. My family started actually asking about my life. They celebrated when I brought in a new major client. They sent congratulations when I got featured in another industry publication. But more importantly, I'd learned something crucial. I didn't need their validation to know my worth. Diane had her baby in July, a healthy boy they named Christopher. I visited them in the hospital, bringing flowers and a gift I'd carefully selected. Greg thanked me for being there. Diane introduced me to Christopher as the coolest aunt ever. In August, my parents hosted a family barbecue. When I arrived, I was immediately struck by the changes. The table was set with one long arrangement, no kids' table in sight. My father made a point of asking about my latest campaign. My mother showed genuine interest in my dating life without pressuring me about marriage. We ate grilled salmon and roasted vegetables. We laughed about old family stories. We took photos together. It wasn't perfect. There were still moments of tension, still old patterns trying to reassert themselves. But it was better. So much better. As the evening wound down, Diane pulled me aside. Thank you for not giving up on us completely. Thank you for finally hearing me. I was thinking, she said. Christmas this year. What if we did something different? What if you helped plan it? Make it actually feel like everyone matters. I'd like that. September brought another milestone. I was asked to speak on a panel at a national marketing conference. The topic was innovation in creative leadership, and I was listed alongside industry veterans with decades more experience. I posted about it on social media, genuinely excited. The comments section filled up fast. Colleagues, friends, and yes, family members all congratulated me. But one comment stood out. It was from my mother. So proud of my brilliant daughter. Can't wait to hear you speak. She came to the conference. My mother actually took time off work, drove to the conference center, and sat in the audience while I spoke to a room of 300 people about creativity, leadership, and having the courage to stand up for yourself. Afterward, she hugged me tight. That was incredible, Jessica. You were incredible. Thanks, Mom. I wish I'd been paying attention sooner. I wish I'd seen what you were building all along. You're seeing it now. That's what matters. The restaurant finally managed to collect their money from that disastrous September dinner. Diane told me later that she'd ended up paying most of it herself when everyone else kept making excuses. Austin contributed something, but my parents claimed they couldn't afford their share. The whole situation had been embarrassing enough that Diane said she'd never do a group restaurant dinner again. Lesson learned, she'd said ruefully. As for me, I continued thriving at Clovian Media, bringing in clients and building a reputation as one of Portland's most innovative creative directors. I dated occasionally, but never felt pressured to settle down. I took trips when I wanted, spent money on things that brought me joy, and built a life that was entirely my own. Looking back on that awful dinner at Clearwater, the kids' table with its plastic cups and chicken fingers, I realized it had been exactly the catalyst I needed. Sometimes the biggest insults lead to the most important changes. I'd learned that I didn't need to be diminished to make others comfortable. I'd learned that walking away wasn't giving up. Sometimes it was the bravest thing you could do. And most importantly, I'd learned that respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you command by knowing your own worth. The revenge I'd taken wasn't dramatic or destructive. It was simply this. I'd built a life so fulfilling, so successful, so undeniably mine that nobody could dismiss me anymore. And in the end, that was the sweetest victory of all.